Hi, friends. Good morning, and welcome to another edition of our Pivot panel. I am really excited about this panel this morning. This is some of the best from Tampa and some agents that we are so fortunate to work with and that we know are doing everything they can possible in the Tampa market, being an amazing resource to their clients, their teams, and just doing everything they can during this time. And I know that everyone that's tuning in will definitely learn something from each one of you. So thank you guys so much for being here for a little Cinco de Mayo edition. Sorry, we don't have any margaritas for you, but we will get through this so you guys can go and sit by the pool and get some work done and have margarita, right?
Nice.
But I want to give you a chance to just quickly introduce yourselves, and I'll start with you, Kevin.
Hey everyone, this is Kevin Byrne. I'm with Impact Realty Tampa Bay. We're a full service real estate brokerage here in the Tampa Bay community. We've got two offices, one here in South Tampa and one in Pinellas County.
Very good. And Bobby?
I'm Bobby Poth. I am a broker associate and market founder for Mainframe Real Estate in the Gulf Coast market, and our office in this area is in downtown St. Pete.
Very good. And Jason and Jen?
Hey everyone, I'm Glenn and this is Jason. We're like, which one's going to talk so we don't talk over each other. But no, we are a husband and wife team. We have several team members here. Our team is the Lifestyle Home Team, and we recently transitioned over to EXP. So we're really excited for that. We service mostly the Wesley Chapel, New Tampa, North Tampa area, but actually all over Tampa Bay. So.
Awesome. Welcome. Well, thank you so much for spending your time with me this morning and being such a resource again to the community. So we're just going to jump right into the question. So really, what have you shifted today to adapt to the current conditions, our new norm, right? Our new social distancing norm. And what do your current operations look like? And I'll jump right into you, Kevin.
So it was a very quick shift for us. Fortunately, we had a lot of tools in place to be able to shift our operations remotely in a very quick manner. So, process from a compliance standpoint, getting checks out to agents, things that was electronically anyway. So even though we have an office that we pride ourselves on being able to have a collaborative environment where everybody together and we have a nice office location, we in theory could always have been a virtual brokerage. And so what's happened is effectively we've shifted into that and given folks the option to be able to do that now. So now they kind of have the best of both worlds. So operationally, our staff has been working from home for the last month and a half or so. We brought them back into the office today. Actually, about half the staff is back in the office today. Not that it was 100% necessary, but I think that with the world beginning to open up with phase one, I think it's important to take those steps really from a perspective standpoint. So to make sure that the public understands that we are doing everything to keep our staff safe and keep our clients safe and keep our agents safe, but that business is going to start resuming slowly. And honestly, it didn't even drop as much as I anticipated. It kind of took a little dip and has rebounded so I think that perception to both of our agents and to the public that business is moving forward was very important. So we're back in the office. Some of the things we implemented was we have virtual trainings now. Our training calendar, which we had trainings every single day. We still have trainings every single day. They've just moved to a virtual environment. And our sales meetings are all virtual now via Zoom. So I think that's going to be the norm going forward for the foreseeable future, especially since we can't have, more than 10 people in a place or whatnot. So I think that trainings going forward are going to be virtually for the next couple of months anyway. And then once we can slowly reel people back in, we'll do that. But as far as, operations, we really haven't missed a beat. And I think that's just a testament to the people and, both the staff and the agents and just the environment all working together to make that happen. So
I think that's funny. And you touched on something that I think everybody has talked about, where they always kind of didn't know that they had this, operational setup where they could just shift to work from home. Like we've always talked about it, right? But when you're forced to do it, you're like, oh, this actually, it does work. So it is a testament to the systems and things that you have in place. So that's amazing to hear. Bob, from your standpoint, and, you just started your market out in St. Pete and Tampa. So you started the Mainframe, and you've got, John and Sean, I'm sure they're tuning in. They're amazing leaders here from Orlando that we know. And you started Mainframe out in St. Pete and Tampa just a few months before the pandemic started. And you were quickly able to shift and still recruiting and doing all the good stuff, being a mentor to your agents. So tell us kind of what your current operations look like and what you guys are really pushing forward.
Yeah, it's interesting because, from the outside, it might look like, wow, what crazy timing to have, done this transition to Mainframe right at that time. But for me, it was actually one of the best decisions because I can't imagine attempting to operate in this new normal without the resources that I have with Mainframe. Mainframe, we have our own technology, Abe. We have been set up to work virtually and have been for a long time. So that's been, nothing from that standpoint has changed. Our agents still have access to our broker hotline, tech support, all of, everything that they have. I think that one of the things that we've changed is all of our company happy hours that were in person, meetings, all of that has gone virtual. And I think it's really important that our agents keep up the morale right now, that they, that they are in a good mood, that they are positive thinking. We all have this, when you're at home by yourself, it's so easy to get in this mindset of not positive thinking. So keeping up those masterminds with our agents virtually has been something that we've implemented. In St. Pete, we are a destination city. So a lot of buyers that we work with buy or make offers sight unseen anyways. So this concept of virtual open houses and virtual showings is not anything new to most of us in Tampa as well. With our agents, we're just embracing it more and calling it virtual open houses. But most of us have been doing it for quite a while.
Right. Yeah. So I know you guys have that amazing, like you said, back office system that I know that Sean has showed me, and you guys were easily able to shift and adapt. And with you kind of being virtual in your own market by yourself, it seems like it was an easy.
Yep.
So congratulations.
That's the downside right there is that my kids at home.
Yeah. You'll hear my children in a minute like, Mom, it's lunchtime. It's going to be perfect time when this is over.
Exactly. I think from a growth standpoint, things have changed. I've never liked the word recruiting. I don't think agents, we don't like to be recruited. We try to attract, good agents. And I think right now people are really focused on their businesses. Some people are making moves, but my goal is to help. I've always said a rising tide lifts all ships, help as many people as possible in every office, around all of my colleagues. I mean, the more we lift each other up right now and support each other, I think the better we're all going to come out of this.
Definitely. And Jen and Jason, I know that that's something that we've talked about as well. You guys made a big shift to EXP right before the pandemic, and EXP is known to be a very virtual world anyway. So you kind of had the best of both worlds at the same time. But we talked about how there's going to be a lot of talent out there too, and shifting and adapting in the way that organizations are treating their team and the way that they're adapting to this new norm is really important now. So what have you guys shifted and what is really working with your current operations?
I will say, actually, we had made the shift to EXP like a week or 2 weeks before all of this happened. And coming from a brick and mortar brokerage, that was something that we were a little nervous about, right? Like our team were like, well, how do we do this? How do we not have our team in front of us all the time? We were afraid that it was going to completely change just the dynamic of our team. And the fact that, I guess for us, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise because this just forced them to be okay with it. But what we found is that they actually really have liked shifting everything virtual. We're more productive, in my opinion. Like we can do our team meetings where it used to take half your day, right? You had to get all dressed up, go to the office. And now we're knocking out our team meetings right away. And they're excited to jump on a lot more trainings. I feel like their engagement is just way higher than it has been in the past? I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think what we've really realized is we all had the technology, but we just weren't utilizing it. And this course, I think it just sped up the tech portion, maybe a year or two, to where people are more comfortable now. Had this not have happened, we probably would have been 2 or 3 years down the road to be as comfortable using Zoom or whatever you're using as frequently as we all are now.
And I actually going back to the clients, you know, there's certain things that come out of this that I think are amazing. And I hope that it continues going forward because it made the business more comfortable with going virtual and doing the Zoom calls. I mean, we're doing buyer consultations now via Zoom where you'd have to schedule a time and have them come into the office. You know, their time's valuable, our time's valuable, right? So to be able to just do this stuff virtually and from home, it's just been so much more convenient and they're loving it. And now, I mean, it's funny, even like texting through video. I have a client, she went under contract and I couldn't be there at the time to sign with her. She did a new build. And so we did everything virtually. And then we've been just sending each other video chats back and forth through text. Like, I feel like it's just, I'm even embracing, like, we're just loving it. Like, we're sending each other messages in the morning. And so I think that, you know, in every bad situation, there's always something positive, and there's been a lot of really positive things.
Good. I love that outlook and the positivity. We'll get into more of some of the positives that you guys think in the next question. We have Kelly, I think. Are you in? There we go. Hi, Kelly. You're actually on mute. Sorry.
Yeah, I had to mute it when the dog started barking, and then my 5 dogs started barking too. So
thank you for joining us so much. If you want to just quickly introduce yourself, and we're just talking about really kind of what your operations look like today and how you've kind of currently shifted and adapted.
Yeah, I've been on listening, so I've heard you guys. I am talk about how my business has shifted. Well, obviously, this working from home with 5 dogs and kids home from college and craziness in my household has made it challenging. And I've been very thankful to have an essential real estate business that gives me an excuse to get out, whether it be with a mask or gloves. But I mean, obviously, it's shifted, but I still find myself pretty busy, and it's been just a different process. I think that the people that are looking out there have been great because they've just been more, ready to get it done. Not tire kickers as much. Okay, there's the dog barking. That was your fault though, Bobby. That wasn't your dogs that time. So I told Lori this could be a mess because my son's home from college with his 2 dogs and my 3, and it's like it's a crazy household. Anyhow, so I mean, I find that the people are just like they're only going to see the houses they're really truly interested. There aren't people that are just looking to look, and so I feel like my business has gotten more efficient because there's just not as much of that wasted time that we're running around. I do have a team. I have a team that there's a few of us who have been working, but there's some of the team that's been more like we're not going anywhere, we're staying home, and so myself being the team leader and generally just being the listing agent, I've been out with buyers and I've been doing all kinds of things that I'm not doing as much. So it's been it's been good though, because it's nice to kind of be in that side and not just to be one-sided. So to get me back in I guess that's where it's shifted. I'm busier than usual. So
yeah, you're doing kind of both sides of the business and just jumping both feet in and embracing it. So I love hearing that. Thank you so much for sharing, Kelly. I want to get into the next question, I think, which is so important that a lot of people are talking about right now is the messaging, like your messaging to not only your clients, but your team. And, what does your messaging look like now? And what tools are you using to really kind of connect with your database to be a calm in the storm, or any advice or techniques that you have that you can give any agents that are listening? And Jen and Jason, I'll start with you.
Do you want to?
That's not
He doesn't let me talk, guys.
Besides, this may be the last time that we see Jen because she's going to be TikTok famous any day now. Not following her on TikTok, she makes me laugh so much. You have to follow her.
My kids are mortified. They're like, what is happening? But no, I think the big thing is just the messaging is just really just being that, just being human at this point, right? And trying to understand everybody's situation, and like from our team members all the way down to our clients, right? Like somebody said, like some team members don't want to leave right now, and that's okay. Like we can respect that. Everybody has a different situation. So I'd say that's the biggest thing, but we have really been utilizing video because I think you have to get that sincerity across, or else everything just feels robotic. So we use BombBomb in all of our drip campaigns. I will say we did revamp like every bit of our marketing. I went through all of our drip campaigns to make sure that there wasn't anything salesy going out, anything that would be insensitive to what's happening. Yeah. But we're using, you know, Zoom, StreamYard, anything, BombBomb, MailChimp, just constantly reaching out, and from a position of, you know, service and what we can do to help. And the other thing we do have is we run a Facebook page. It's called Wesley Chapel Lifestyle, and we've been doing a lot of things with the local businesses in the area, just
helping promote them to drive sales to their business, especially the restaurants. You know, they're hurting so bad right now. What can we do to increase their carry-out business and bring community awareness to them?
Yeah, I love that. Good, thank you for that. So what was the page again, if anyone listening is wanting to follow it?
It's called Wesley Chapel Lifestyle.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. And Bob, from your perspective, you know, how has your messaging changed, or what tools and techniques are you really using to connect with your database and your clients, your team? I know you all are big on leadership when it comes to Mainframe, and you have like a morning leadership huddle, and it's more about mindset, right? So how has that messaging shifted, if at all?
Yeah, you know, I think that at least for myself, and I think most of our agents at Mainframe, you know, we all try to come from a place of service on a normal basis anyways. So I think it's just really getting that messaging out there. You know, like Jason and Jen, videos have been huge. If anybody hasn't gone to the Florida Realtor Convention each year, it's a really good thing to go to. And ahead of time they have camp, and the day before I took a class on video messaging, and somebody said something that I think really translated well to the market we're in right now. And it was that, you know, videos are essential to what we're doing, getting your message out there. And so many people are apprehensive because they don't like how they look or sound. But the reality is your face is your face, your voice is your voice. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. People see it when you go to the grocery store. So I think that for a lot of us that might have been uncomfortable embracing video, and we've kind of been forced into that world now, it's a really good thing. And for those that embrace it, I think it's opening up a lot of opportunities. Our messaging really has come from a point of service for the most part. I think buyers and sellers, there's, you know, equal parts super excited about still making moves in the market, and then people that are apprehensive. And I think easing those fears, making sure people understand that we are the experts, that we understand what's going on, that we're doing that research, and they come to us for that information rather than just listening to the news.
Yeah, I know, and I definitely, if you guys aren't following Bobby on Facebook, you're a great resource for a lot of amazing articles about, you know, the pandemic and the effects on the real estate market. And I saw one the other day that was like talking about the values that you shared, and that was a great article. So definitely people follow him because he's got some great information, being a great resource. So thank you for that. Kevin, from your perspective, and you know, one thing I didn't touch on earlier in the previous question is you just started your own brokerage, like you had your 1 year anniversary recently, right? So you were still growing and building during all of this, and with over 100 agents now, I think, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, getting so many agents so quickly, how has your message really shifted, you know, to help your team and let them know that you're there for them during this time?
Right. Yeah, so we did. Thank you very much for recognizing that. We had our 1 year anniversary on April 15th. So about 2 weeks ago, and we had hit over 100 agents, about the 10 or 11 month mark. And that certainly slowed since the pandemic hit. But the message was, in the beginning, when crisis happens, we want to ease people's fears, kind of like what Bob said. You want to calm the storm, and ease their anxiety and let them know what resources are out there. So in the very beginning, we started talking about all the different government resources that were out there for them through the different loan programs and whatnot and what they could apply for. And then people's stimulus checks started to come in and they started getting approved for those loans. So they started feeling that ease a little bit. And that's when we started seeing things opening up again. And being that resource and being, a positive resource, not necessarily about specifically real estate, but just everything that's going on, and maintaining a positive attitude. And there's a lot of misinformation out there on the internet. There's a lot of negativity out there on the internet. People think the sky is falling, and it's really not falling. We did see a slowdown, obviously, but utilizing all those tools, the video tools, the virtual touring tools, all the 3D camera tools, all of those tools that we have available to us as agents and as brokerages, just letting the public know that you can safely go out there and buy a property and view a property with very limited interaction with people, which is, going to be somewhat of a new norm nowadays. I think there's, like Jen had said, I think there's going to be a lot of that video conferencing going forward. And I think that's very important. So just maintaining that positive environment. And even through all of our sales meetings and all of our trainings, having the agents share. So activities like this one right now, and having agents collaborate with one another, what's working, what's not working. We're all in this together. And I do believe there's going to be a consolidation in the industry. I think some of the folks that aren't adapting are going to end up joining some of the folks that are adapting. And I think that's going to be actually not a bad thing. I think that'll make all of us stronger, and just keeping the public aware of what's going on. We happen to be in a great area of the country, which in the Tampa Bay community, which will rebound very quickly. And I've seen many articles that talked about that there won't be much of a price drop, and I've seen that even with our own inventory that folks are putting offers in, at or near asking price. We're still getting multiple offers on properties. So from a buyer and seller perspective, I'm telling people that it's a great time to get out there, and whether it's listing your property or going to look at properties, because a lot of folks have been sitting around with, spending a lot of time on their cell phones and a lot of time on their computers. There's a lot of screen time right now, and they're watching those houses. They're watching those houses that they've always liked, and if they're still in the situation with their job and they're able to go out there and put that offer on, the house that might have had multiple offers on it 2 months ago doesn't have multiple offers on it right now, or you might be able to get a slight discount on it if that seller is motivated in other ways. So I just think that staying active and telling the agents to continue to stay active, and your clients that, if you're still in a situation, now is a great time to be listing your property, and now is a great time to be buying property because the inventory is very low and interest rates are very low. They hit a historic low last week. So just maintaining that, that message is very important through all the different tools.
Yeah. So just focusing on like hyper communication, right? And letting your agents know that digital presence is everything. I know, like, I find myself looking at houses and I'm not even like in the market to buy a house. So like, I know that there's a lot of consumers out there like that are just looking at houses, and who knows what would spark it.
Mm-hmm.
Perspective, Kelly, what has your messaging changed, if anything at all? And what tools and techniques are you using to really connect with your database and your team? And really, from you as being a team leader, it sounds like you're diving in and doing everything from start to finish, and that shows a lot about your leadership. So I love hearing that. So tell us a little bit more.
So I guess with my database, I've been doing more reaching out. I think older in this longer than most of the people on this panel. I'm a grandma, as Lori was just surprised here. I have 5 grandkids. So I have been working on just reaching out to people. I'm like, I've got to talk to someone. I've got to see how they're doing. I'm not as much technology. So this has been challenging for me to be in this technology-driven world, because I have to have that people contact. So I've really just been making, and telling my team, like, everybody, now's a good time to check in with people to see how they're doing, and just to see what I can help people with, what they need. And And mine's been, what can we do for you, for the people in our database, and not, I've wanted to get a little more into the technology side of it, and I've done some virtual, open houses, and I'm that person who Bobby described that hates myself on the screen. Like even right now, I hate it, and I hate that I have to feel when I cover the spot. I don't like looking at it. I hate my voice, so it's really hard for me to do this video stuff. But I know that it's the time, the times we're into, and then just social media and keeping up on that, and just staying relevant. And mine's been kind of watching where people are at and seeing who I can reach to offer some sort of help or support or just an ear. And I guess my messaging is just me being able to connect a little more, because I'm not as busy as we are in the normal market. I'm still busy because I'm doing more, but I feel like it's a really good time to be connecting with people. And I've had some great like referrals and things coming to me because they've just been seeing me more present on some social media stuff and interactive there. So I know that the technology does work, because there's been a few people that I'm like, wow, how'd they contact me? They're like, oh, your grandkid was so cute the other day in this. And I'm like, and I realized
it's so funny how many conversations I've had with other agents like that. They're like, I started doing stories on Facebook or started doing stories on Instagram, and like I got a random lead, somebody reaching out to me, just the more presence online. So I love that you're embracing that and
I've been dying to do TikTok. And my kids will not teach me how to do this. I'm like, oh, I want to do this TikTok stuff, because that's like the one thing I think is really, really fun. And I plan to do it this whole quarantine, and I've not done one yet because they just won't let me. They just won't help me out with it.
Well, we actually have a TikTok class today. It's one of our classes we're teaching. So if anyone's listening,
really?
Learn the basics of TikTok. I think it's at 3. I'll send it to you after we get off. But
okay.
It's about an hour long. I'll teach you the basics of TikTok for sure. But we're all going to strive to have Jen's followers soon. She's really funny. But I think it gives you that chance to show your personality, and that's really important. So thank you for that, Kelly. And Jen and Jason, I kind of want to jump into for you. I know like team building, culture. This is a very kind of specific question, because we had a conversation about office space, right? We were talking about you guys finding office space right before the pandemic. And I think a lot of people are rethinking the office space thing. Like, do we all need to be at one big center? Do we all need to have, a massive overhead? Because culture for you was super important, and you wanted to feel your team. Have you guys rethought about that, or what does that really look like for you now as far as culture goes?
I don't know. Honestly, I would say I'm torn. Part of me, just because of the type of people we are, I miss that environment. I like getting up and going to the office, and like you said, we just like interacting with people, right? So like putting us in this is just killing us. I also, I see from my agent standpoint, and just looking at agents across the country, I just feel like we're getting so much more productive, not making them come into the office for every little thing, and they can jump on the trainings a lot easier. So I don't know. I'm a little torn at this point. What are your thoughts?
I agree. It's opened my mind up to how much we can get done and how productive we can be without being in one office. And it was interesting. We were on a Zoom call with Brad Inman of Inman News last week, and he's forecasting that we're going to see a 70 to 75% reduction in brick and mortars in real estate due to everyone adapting to the technology. And to Jen's point, the trainings online, I almost think they're easier, right? You cut down on traffic time to and from the office. You cut down on maybe your 10-minute pull into Starbucks drive-through. So it's
chatting. Everybody's well, you don't just walk into the office and go straight to the training, right? You spend time. Everybody's chatting before. So I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, I guess it makes us realize that we can get more done throughout the day if we're not going to the physical office. But to everyone's point, I do miss physical interaction. But right now, nobody wants to high five or give me a bro hug anyway. So.
Yeah.
You're talking about maybe that, but maybe we have to, like, once everything opens back up, maybe you still stay virtual, but then you just plan more team bonding events and other things that we can do as far as we're really big on doing community events and fundraisers and things. So we're like, maybe we just utilize that more as our team bonding and things like that.
Right. So just doubling down on the community and doing more just one-on-one kind of team bonding events. That was another thing I was going to ask is on the culture. What are you guys doing now? Are there any like fun things that you can give other people advice on that you're maybe doing with the team?
We've been trying to encourage them to do more of their interviews, like what we've been doing with our local business owners, get them out there to do things. And then as far as planning events, we haven't got there yet. We're talking about some things, but I think it kind of depends on what's the comfort level of people getting out of their homes over the next 30, 60, 90 days and what events are going to be there to do. I know even this morning we were talking about, do we even just get everybody together this week and go to Armature Works and grab lunch? We can all sit outside, have that
Spread out, have the social distance.
But still meet up.
Yeah. That's what we're currently doing. We touch base with them pretty often with all of our team members individually, daily, just because we're not a huge team. And but we've always just had a lot of fun with each other. So we haven't really planned anything specific, but we're always interacting and giving each other a hard time. That's our dynamic.
Amazing. Well, I know you guys all have an amazing, consistent presence on just talking about Kelly. You know, how has this really helped you adapt and pivot your business? Any strategies? And what virtual tools are you really using the most? And Bobby, I'll start with you.
You know, we have our office in downtown St. Pete, and I work out of it constantly, and I just have never liked working from home. And now, even though I really would be one of the only people going in there, I'm still primarily working from home just because it's become so efficient. So, you know, becoming more efficient at working remotely has been huge. You know, social media, again, Facebook. I've tried doing TikTok. I just don't know that I have that. I don't know that I have that it factor for TikTok. But I think that that's a great tool that people can be using. I think another thing right now is, you know, for the people who are trying to figure out where they're going with their business right now and how they're transitioning it, education is huge. You know, to me, there's no reason, you know, that any realtor right now should not have done or be doing their C2EX, their commitment to excellence throughout this time period of having a little bit, you know, less face-to-face with people. You know, we're saving time by doing these virtual meetings. That's time that can be spent on education. I know, Amanda, you have a whole host of classes that the agents can be taking. And I think that that's a really good tool that people can be using right now that can kind of help them take their business to the next level. Because, you know, you get one thing out of one class that you can implement in your business to make it more successful or make you a better professional. And that can be a game changer.
Definitely. So I've told everyone that if they can focus on anything, it's just education. Even if it's something just running in the background, a podcast or whatever, you're going to pick up on those little nuggets that you need to hear that day. So I love that.
I think that we're going to see, I think that a lot of people are embracing that. I mean, if you talk to anybody over at Pro, the amount of people that are taking these online classes for these certifications is astronomical, and they've opened it up to multiple counties, and there's a lot of collaboration that we've never seen before. And I think that's a really, really good thing. I think it's gonna take our good professionals to the next level, and we're gonna see a lot of changes in our industry, I think, because of it.
For sure, definitely. Kevin, from your perspective, you know, what virtual tools are you guys really using the most? I know you mentioned you have a ton of classes, I know as well. You do daily classes and you've taken all of those virtual. So you're really pushing the education as well. Is there anything else as far as, you know, educating your agents on virtual showings or anything else?
Yeah, what we have done, in addition to just taking all of our class virtual, obviously we're recording all of those classes and editing them, putting them online for our agents. We've actually started doing something that I've wanted to do for quite some time. So this whole pandemic has become such a blessing in so many ways because it's forced all of us to do things that are kind of on our radar, but they didn't get forced to be done until, you know, we had to, right? So things that we are doing is just a continual training series whereby, our newer agents always have a mentor assigned to them, and they always have someone to bounce ideas off of. But let's be honest, the mentor is not always available to them on a Sunday night at midnight when they have that urgent question that they have, right? So we've created a back office series whereby literally every single question that we can think of that an agent might have, we're building a video on and or a training series on. So they're going to have the ability to have that live resource and that mentor available to them, but also the type in a question, how do you fill out this section of a contract or this section of an addendum, or how to handle this type of situation. And it's just going to be an ongoing thing going forward. So just creating that database so that the teams are becoming more efficient, and that if they have a question, they can go to their mentor, their broker, their team leader, whatever, and get that answer. But then they can always have a resource to go back to say, okay, what was it that they said? Or let me review that and watch that video 3 times to make sure I got it right. And these are very short videos. They could be 1-2 minutes long or 5 minutes long, or they could just be some text. But we're using a system called Trainual for that, and it's absolutely spectacular. And it's a great resource for team leaders, brokers, and individual agents. So that's one of the other things that we're doing.
So you've really used this time to perfect your systems and essentially a virtual training log or training resource for your agents.
Yeah, I'm very much a person that likes to scale businesses. So everything that I've been in, I'm big on scaling, and I think all of us have the tools now to be able to scale outside of our marketplace. So whether it's building a team outside of your market, we can do that now. For us, I intend on building a statewide brokerage, and I can run that brokerage straight from the home office in Tampa and have little satellite offices. But all of us in different scenarios, as long as the value proposition that we are promising to our agents, we're delivering on, and we can deliver that virtually, and those agents can take those tools and deliver on the value proposition that they're giving to their clients, that's the most important thing to me. And just being authentic and being transparent about the new norm, and here's how business is going to be conducted, and here's how we're all adapting to it. I think it's a blessing for all of us, to be honest with you.
Yeah, definitely. So value add and just having those systems in place is everything, because I think we can all agree that the continual education when it comes to being a real estate agent, or even in the real estate industry, entitle the training, the continuing education is the same. So having that within your brokerage is huge. Jen and Jason, from your perspective, what virtual things are you using the most?
Zoom, definitely. We're using Zoom the most. And then FaceTime. I think I've seen a bigger adaptation to clients being comfortable with FaceTiming now through a home. I also think you're seeing less of just looking at 10 or 15 homes, and it's more like, hey, let's go FaceTime through these 3 to 5 homes, write an offer, and then we show up during the inspection period. So really, systems, our CRM, we've tightened that up. I think we've all been in a position where there's things in our CRMs that we needed to clean up, tighten up, and adjust. We've used this time to do that. And then definitely FaceTime and Zoom with the clients is the biggest adaptation that I've noticed.
Yeah. And I think it's been, like I said, I think it's been great as that they're so open to it now. I think before if you went to a client and you said, hey, I think let's jump on a Zoom call and look at what you're really looking for, and you can share your screen and go through homes together and talk things out. You've been able to really narrow things down instead of spending so much time. I think before we kind of we just kind of let them, we run ourselves around when I don't think it was really necessary. And then even with the listings and stuff, but as far as the team goes, we really just have been utilizing Zoom. We're on Zoom several times a week with our team, and like you were saying, the great thing is just like you were saying earlier, the training, right? I love that our community of realtors, you guys have been reaching out. There's just been so much sharing among team leaders and different brokerages and inviting people to the trainings. I mean, it's been an amazing, I think it's been amazing to see everybody come together and really just support each other's businesses as well. So we've been leveraging a lot of our relationships too.
Yeah.
I love that, and that goes back to one of our core values at Celebration Title is being contagious, not competitive. And I think this has really forced the whole industry to be this way and collaborate. And things like Kelly said earlier, she's not as advanced on the technology, but she's leaning into it and teaming up with somebody like Jen and Jason that are on TikTok and can help you get there. It's so beautiful to watch.
It's my favorite thing now. Like, seriously, what are you doing? I'm sitting outside by myself doing TikTok videos.
My 2 daughters, that's like the new norm at my house right now. In the downside, we got 3 of them TikToking.
Oh, bless your heart. I have no idea how you're doing it. So kind of during these times, many people are looking for ways to cut costs and really run a lean business. What adjustments have you made, really, if any, even if it's just taking the marketing dollars and shifting them, and any advice that you can give agents who might be looking at, P&L to really increase profitability, what to really look at. Kelly, I'll kind of start with you on that one.
All right. Yeah, that's actually been one of the areas I've been able to really kind of look into what I'm spending, and since I'm actually jumping in more leads than normal, because people aren't claiming them, then I'm the backup person, so it's coming to me. So I'm seeing what is good, what does work. When they, sorry, I bumped the mute. When they say, we can't, there's nothing here and there, I'm going, I'm converting all this business. So I had been thinking about cutting a lot of my spend down for a while because I've been having a few challenges within my group. But then I'm going, well, I'm having success now. So what do I do? But this has been a great time for me to analyze where to cut some of my dollars and really to look at the business and how it's running and what I need in place to keep it going and keep getting better and getting bigger and better and spending less. And I do think there's a lot of areas I can cut some, but yet there's some that are probably not utilizing enough. So
you're really digging and looking deep into your lead sources at conversions and making sure that you're shifting the dollars into the ones that you're able to convert the most. So I love that you're doing that for your team and providing more opportunities for them as well. Kevin, from your perspective, I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought Jen was. I said, can I chime in on that? I'm like, go ahead. I'm giving you. I'm not. Never mind.
Oh yeah, Jen wants to chime in on that. Go for it, Jen.
Yeah, sorry.
Exactly what Kelly had said. I think it made us realize, like, we were kind of like, we spend on Realtor.com and Zillow and things like that, and it made us really look at our conversions. And since we are jumping in on the buyer leads and things like that now, since we have some team members who don't want to go out, and it made me realize, it opened up my eyes to some of our weaknesses, I think, as leaders, and some things that we have been lacking, and some of the things that we need to start training our team, and it's helped us revamp that. So yeah, I completely agree that we really have been looking at our ad spend, but it's also not so much what can I cut out, but what can I improve on what I need to do as a leader to make this more efficient and better. So that's all. I just wanted to chime on because it was right on like that.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So making sure that every dollar counts and it's super intentional. And I love that you said, as a leader, you're looking at yourself as, what are we doing that, or what are we not doing as leaders that can get those conversion rates up? So, taking accountability as a leader is everything. Kevin, from your perspective, anything that you've done to look at the business and lean anything out or move dollars, provide more opportunities for your agents?
Yeah, no, that's one of the first things that when we were trying to help calm people down was talking to them about cash flow and how important cash flow is in all of our businesses, whether it's the brokerage or the team or individually. And so going after that low-hanging fruit and those transitions that will bring cash flow in quickly, and analyzing those and what are short-term conversions versus more longer-term conversions, and going after those short-term conversions, and just training people on how to analyze their conversions, and not just analyzing it in a very high level. You have to analyze it in different silos. So you can't just say I spent $1,000 and I closed 2 deals out of it. you have to analyze it in different with different metrics. How much did you spend? How many leads came in? How many meaningful conversations did you have? How many appointments did you set? And then how many contracts did you write? So in identifying where in the process you are actually lacking, or is this type of ad, or this type of campaign, or this type of activity, where do I need to improve upon, and what does either myself or my team need to improve upon, whether it's the scripts or the conversions, or hey, maybe we just have a terrible lead list or database list and we want to shift that to a different, more a database or a lead list that's going to convert higher. So looking at those is real important. I think in today's market, there are going to be a lot of folks that were on the fence about listing their properties, and this might have just pushed them over the edge because they might have been tight and they might have plenty of equity in their home. So just kind of hyper analyzing the data and analyzing those lists and whatever type of marketing you're doing, instead of doing generic, kind of analyzing it and being more fine-tuned and getting a higher conversion per actual dollar spent. And that's real important to educate folks on.
Definitely. So I think it's kind of unanimous when it comes to that, analyzing the conversions. And I love how you broke it down into those individual parts. Bobby, from your perspective, anything that you did to really increase profitability or move any marketing dollars, or even just to educate your agents on things they can do?
Yeah, I mean, Mainframe in general has, because we have our own tech platform that was built, our backend system, we've been pretty streamlined as it is. But some of the stuff we've done to really help our agents, we really fast forwarded and moved quickly on launching some of the things that were in the works, like our click marketing. So our agents can, create their social media graphics or any other graphic design through our click marketing, saving them both time or hiring outside and spending their marketing dollars on that. Just some of the tools that we have been working on, getting those launched so that our agents can save money in their businesses. For myself, I really stepped back and took a look at everything from my insurance policies to, my phone packages, whatever it was, to see, okay, where is there waste? Because, when business is good and you've got a ton of money as an agent coming in, you've got a ton going out, you don't think about the cost of some things. And little things like just changing the servicer of my homeowner's insurance to the same person who's doing my auto saved me $800 a year. Well, that's real money right there. And then finding a way to figure out what of those things work for me, and then rolling it over to the customers and clients I work with as advice that I can give them, to possibly save money.
Yeah, so just giving advice on things that have worked for you, and you said it perfect earlier, right? We all have time to kind of sit down and look at systems in our business, but systems in our personal finances and what we're doing are super key and important too, and I think so important for agents across the board.
We don't realize sometimes, those random $20 charges that are getting charged to the credit card or the bank account through various things that we've subscribed to that add up over time. And I've also done things personally, like transitioning my website to a local company to handle it rather than who I was using, because it's going to be more affordable and it's also going to support more local business.
Definitely. And Kevin wanted to chime in on that one as well.
Yeah, no, Bobby brought up a great point about monitoring those expenses and kind of leveraging certain things. And he talked about his insurance, combining the insurance, and it kind of got me thinking about leveraging. In all of our business, we have vendors that we leverage. So whether it's Celebration Title that we're leveraging, or whether it's the insurance company or the home inspection company, now's a great time to be talking to those vendors and leveraging those relationships. And it doesn't necessarily have to be monetary leverage, but by doing joint marketing or doing back scratches and just saying shout outs to each other, that's very important right now to help all of us that in the industry just not only survive but thrive and just creating that leverage together. And it could be a joint marketing campaign, but it was just something that Bobby had brought up that I wanted to make note of.
Definitely. And and third-party endorsements are free, right? If you already love each other, you trust each other, and you like super simple thing to do. So just working on those endorsements and those testimonials will take it a long way. So just kind of with, how do you really think that these new norms will shape the future of real estate? What do you hope to really see come from it? Kelly, I'll start with you.
Well, I think that people are definitely going to be more open to looking at, because we're in Florida and so many people are out of state, that showing online, going ahead and videoing, FaceTiming, Zooming them through homes. It's going to maybe get people that are wanting to do something but waiting for a trip. Well, hey, there's this great house, and I think everyone's going to be more open to that, which is great. And efficient, because we're in a competitive market too. So if we don't, get them in that house and we're going to get a flight in 2 weeks, well, you're probably going to be too late. So I think that should help us with all of our out-of-state clients a lot. And I just think new norms, like the whole office thing that you're talking to Jen and Jason about, I've got a really, expensive office, and I'm like, really, I love working from home now, other than these dogs. But I do. I'm more efficient. I'm less distracted. So I think there's going to be a lot of that kind of changing and shifting in whether to be in an office. And my assistant, my office manager, she's on maternity leave, but actually has been able to jump in and was wanting to kind of start working from home after the baby, but she had the baby March 3rd, and then we went on lockdown, and she started back this week going, and she's, and I realized, okay, it works. So it's great for her. She's been, her being back this week's been wonderful. And I realized how much I missed her, but she is, and she's like, no, this is awesome. So I'm like, okay, do I really need that office? So I think the norms, there's definitely going to be some changes to how we do things, and having our team meetings and Zoom calls when everybody's always like, oh, I can't get here at this time. Okay, well, jump wherever you are. Let's jump on a Zoom. And that's going to be a new thing too, that I think that isn't just going to go away once this crazy thing goes away. So
definitely. So just the reassurance that it is possible to buy and sell virtually, and we're definitely going to see that as a new norm going forward, especially in the areas that we're in, because there are so many relocations, especially from the Northeast. So how simple it is to let them know you don't have to fly down here to sign paperwork, right? We get that question a lot with the title company as well, how easy we can do real estate virtually. Jason and Jen, from your perspective, you kind of touched on it earlier, that something that you love seeing more productive and keeping that virtual thing going. What else do you hope to see come from it? From the positivity standpoint you were mentioning.
What do you think?
You broke up, so I missed part of that question. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Oh, no, I just said, as far as, what do you really hope to see as far as like from the positivity standpoint? There were so many points that you've made throughout the conversation that you really love about this pandemic, and seeing more productivity from your team. What do you really hope to see the new norm in real estate?
So as far as the new norm, I think just everybody being comfortable with the virtual things. I found it interesting how busy we stayed through this pandemic. And you also saw a lot of agents where they took the hide, I'm going to just kind of go hide and pretend like real estate doesn't exist. And you saw a lot of people step up and become leaders and things like that. So as far as the future goes, I think you're going to see a reduction in real estate agents, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think there's a lot of agents running around out there that, in my opinion, maybe shouldn't be out there on their own at this time. And Kevin, I love your idea of having a mentor. I truly believe the industry should look at almost a mentorship program, right? If you go to be a tradesperson, you have to have a mentorship. And here we are in real estate dealing with people's largest transactions of their lives most of the time. And you may have a guy or gal fresh out of school that's never done anything, and now they're dealing with hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars worth of assets. So I think that's going to be a lot of it. I think we are going to see a reduction in brokerages, as far as I think you'll see some mergers and acquisitions. And I think we're going to see a reduction in overall brick and mortar stores, because so many people have realized we can move on and continue to be as productive or more productive without having that brick and mortar place.
Yeah, I think that, like, as far as like what I hope to see like stick though is that I think that, you know, just kind of the sense of community that's come out of this, right? I think that just the collaboration, what we're doing right now, I mean, this is amazing, right? And getting to know each other and each other's businesses and how we can support each other. And then just having the clients being okay with being virtual. I'm really loving that. Because again, you know, we're busy, right? We're team leaders. We're still in production though. We're not at the point where we're out of production. We have 3 kids. So I feel like I've been able just to embrace so much more. I'm so much more available to my clients, to my team. I'm really loving that aspect of it, right? I feel like there's some really cool things that have come out of it. And then to his point, I didn't say not even so much like a reduction of ages. I think there are some people that kind of dabbled in real estate that just, it was oh, I'm going to do it. Maybe with a friend or something here. But I really do think that you're going to see a lot more teams form and brokerages kind of merge together. I think you're going to see it, people come together and like, you know, leverage each other a little bit more going forward.
Yeah, definitely. And I know Bobby wanted to chime in on that one. I love that you were clapping. I think everybody was shaking their heads on that. You know, just basically saying that there is going to be a squeeze in the industry, especially of people that need the mentorship. And maybe that is something that everyone would love to see come out of it, is when you come out of real estate school, having a mentor and working through your first transactions together. I think it's a beautiful thing. So Bobby, I'll let you chime in on that one too. You know, what else do you hope to see come from it, and especially from a new agent perspective?
Yeah, you know, I'm also a real estate instructor. So when I go back to this education thing, and, you know, I think that prior to this, a lot of people, you know, they get their real estate license, they'll do their mandatory 45 post, and then they'll just do their CEs as they need them. They don't actually go after getting certifications or taking more classes or gaining more knowledge. And I remember back when I got my broker's license, this saying that, isn't it a shame that we don't look at the first 2 years in this business as an apprenticeship? And I think that that's so true. So many people get their license and they go out and they just have a license to commit malpractice or be unethical. And not that that's everybody, but and I think sometimes we're a little too hard on judging new agents. But I think that what we're going to see come out of this is, like I said, people are really focusing on taking more classes, getting more education right now. And in any market shift, you see, you know, as things constrict, agents get out of the business. Sometimes it's good agents, sometimes it's not. But I think that those of us that are really working together, really working on elevating our professionalism, really encouraging the ethics in our industry, are going to be the ones that, you know, that are still standing here a few years from now. And we're going to see a change in the face of what our profession looks like.
Definitely. So I heard a podcast the other day that called it kind of the season of separation, where you're really going to see the ones separate that are really pivoting and shifting. And, you know, the people, maybe the newer agents or whomever that are seeing these leaders, and they're going to naturally just gravitate towards that. So I love that you give us the instructor standpoint too, and the whole, a shame that our first 2 years are not looked at as an apprenticeship. That's a great message. So thank you. And Kevin, from your perspective, you know, what do you really hope to see come from this, and how do you think this will really shape the future of real estate?
Well, I actually believe that this is just accelerating what was kind of inevitable anyway. I think technology was going to create this this need for a shift in agents, you know, perception anyway, and I think this pandemic just kind of accelerated it. So I think those that are that get good at the technology and get good at being efficient with all the tools that we talked about today are going to accelerate much faster. And just like you said, there is going to be an actual separation from those that are sitting on the sideline, like Jason said, and said, "Hey, this is my 6-week vacation." Well, it really wasn't. And those of us that are taking those tools and educating ourselves and learning, and even if it's just a little millimeter shift every single day, those little millimeters add up to long-term, you know, growth. And, I'm a firm believer that, we are the habits that we create every single day. And those little habits are what form our business and what form our life. So I think that we're just creating new habits. And with that, the technology is going to accelerate those and create more efficiencies, which is great for those that have been experienced, but it also is a good thing for newer agents. So they in theory, if they jump onto the technology and the tools available to them, they should in theory be in the mentorship, like you guys talked about, be able to close transactions faster, be able to get their career elevated and accelerated quicker because of the technology that's available to them. So while I do believe, like the whole panel said, there's going to be a consolidation and a separation at the same time from the have and the have-nots, I think that that this is a good thing for everybody that wants to and is hungry to stay in the business.
Definitely. I love that you said about the new agents, if they embrace the technology now, like the confidence they're going to have closing those transactions faster and getting over that hump, right? When you first start real estate, it's going to be incredible to watch, definitely. So, and Kelly wanted to add something really quick to that.
Yeah. When you just said the new agents that do start now and kind of come into this, it's kind of like from back in 2008, the agents that started actually after the crash had already occurred and were starting in that, they didn't know any different. And many of them have done very well rather than some of us that it destroyed me for a while until, I moved from Michigan here 8 years ago and started over. I didn't even want to do it there anymore. So I had to start all over. But I think that there's a lot of people that sometimes when you start in this season, then they're gonna end up. It's going to be the norm to them, and they're just going to take it and run. And I mean, not all new agents are. There's lots of talent out there, but there are too many. I mean, I just think that overall, I wish education would be more of a factor. I wish that people took it more serious. As Bobby said, there's classes that we can go on, and I go and sit in GTAR classes, and there's some people are like, why are you in this CMA class? I just always pick something new up, and I always learn something, and I really try to enforce on my team, but I don't force them, but I try to, I suggest, hey, I'm taking this class, and nobody's there. So this is what I've been doing this 20 years, and I'm still going to some of the simplest of classes to just keep myself fresh and up to speed. And I think that's really important. So I just want to chime in with the things you guys said.
Definitely. It's all about constant improvement, right? And there's always different rules and technologies and things coming out. So I love that you put yourself out there and continue to hone in and develop more and more skills. So last question, I'll just kind of jump in, is if you can leave realtors or clients or anyone listening or that may watch this with just one thing they can do now to stay in the right mindset, to take action, and to be ready when we're really on the other side of this and out of phase 1, 2, 3, or whatever it's going to be, however many phases, what would that really be? And Jen and Jason, I'll start with you.
I will say, I think that the one thing is, obviously we've said over and over, video. Get comfortable with video, get used to video. But the one thing, actually, I had this happen to me yesterday. I'm just going to say real quickly. It's just, I think, especially newer agents and just agents as a whole, right? I feel like we feel like everything is coming at us at once, and there's all this great education, all these ideas. I think it's take that one thing, master it, crush it, then move on to the next. Don't try to do everything at once, because I think we see that, we try to go wide, and then we just fumble, and we say, never mind, I'm going to go watch TV because this is too much. So that's all I'd say. Pick that one thing and crush it. Whatever is what you really want to focus on and what you're passionate about, do it. Don't wait.
Yeah. I would say to stay in the right mindset, don't watch the news, and just interact with your friends and family, master that one thing or a few things that you wanted to do to get better. And lastly, I am super thankful that we're in Florida, because if you look at the national economy and we drive it down to a hyper local, I think you're going to see Florida bounce back a lot quicker than in Ohio, Michigan, and New York and New Jersey. That northern section is going to have a much longer, slower recovery, in my opinion, than Florida. I think we're going to bounce out of it in the next 60, 90 days and be back to business as normal.
Definitely.
Great message. Bobby, from your perspective, anything that you can tell people, and I know I really want to hear from you because you in the beginning of the pandemic were like, boom, shifted your mindset so fast and focused on your health really quickly. Everyone's like following your weight loss journey. He's riding like 40 miles a day on a bike. So like if you can motivate people, like that is insane. I'm so proud to watch you do that, especially eat. It's crazy. What was something that you did to really shift your own mindset that you could give other people now to really start taking action on whatever their one thing might be?
I actually have three.
Okay.
So one is, no matter how much positivity we all project out there, we all still, all of us on this panel, we all still have fears that we're dealing with on a daily basis with our business, with our personal lives, whatever it is. And I think supporting each other, because we're the only ones that understand what each other's going through. So, even calling an agent within your office or another office and just, how are you doing? What are you experiencing? How can I help? I think is a really important thing. And then the second thing is try to take control over what you can control. For me, it was, trying to take control over my health in some way. That was something I could do because now I had some time to focus on it. And then, the third thing I'm going to steal from, John Russell and Sean Frank, our founder and co-founder of Mainframe, is what makes you happy. They asked me yesterday because we did our leadership call and, I had slept in a little bit and was not, my pep wasn't in my step yesterday morning. And, John asked me, what are you going to do today that makes you happy? And I think that we all have some time right now to kind of step back and say, what makes us happy? The happier we are in our lives and as professionals, the better we're going to be at our job. So I think taking a moment to sit back and ask ourselves what makes us happy and spend a little time focusing on that will help us all get to the next level.
Yeah, I love that message. And this is something like, this is always on my desk. So Delivering Happiness is like one of my favorite books if you guys haven't read it, but it talks about, making people happy or your team happy and how they will just make the clients happy in general, right? And that's what you're talking about is, when you focus on yourself, you can deliver what you're constantly projecting, which is that happiness. So I love that, delivering happiness every day. And you've lost an incredible 40 pounds or something in a month and a half.
No, I started before the pandemic, January 23rd.
That is insane. So
yeah.
Many of us are falling and eating more in the pandemic and exercising more. So, Kevin, from your perspective, any one thing that they can take action on, or three if you have like Bobby, which is great, just to set somebody up for success after this.
Yeah, and it's going to be different for every person, but I think picking that one thing, that one marketing campaign or that one course or whatever it is, and taking action right now, taking action today, and what can you do right now is the most important thing, because a lot of people will procrastinate and they'll say, okay, well, we've got another 2 weeks of this phase one, and then phase two is when we really get kicked in. Well, that's not true. Right now you can be preparing for the next step, and those of us, the people that are taking action now, are going to be ahead of the curve for those that are sitting back and waiting for the whole world to completely open up. So once again, whether and I always like to say that you're never going to be ready, so you might as well just do it. There's no point in preparing to prepare to finally do something. Just do it, and it doesn't have to be perfect. We're all humans, so you can send that marketing piece out or that email or that TikTok or that bomb or whatever and forget about it. When I record videos, I often only record them one time or maybe twice, but if you really stumble upon your words, but the authenticity of you screwing up a little bit and fumbling is okay. So just do it, record it, and get it out there. And so whatever it is, and like Jen and Jason were saying with the marketing, just go. And that's my advice.
Yeah, definitely. There's a video. So if anybody's looking to do BombBomb, they have a ton of great videos on their actual website that teach you how to use BombBomb. But they even say it in there, the perfection is in kind of the authenticity of it, right? If you just record it once or twice and then just get it out there. So I think that's something that we all struggle with is over-analyzing, and that's a great message. So just send it out. And sometimes if it's a blooper, I know for me, my blooper videos get more views by like 10 times on Facebook than my normal ones. And I'm like, really? Like everyone wants to kind of see the authentic part of it. So I love that. Kelly, from your perspective, anything? I love that you put in our group chat. You said I was on a good weight loss plan until the pandemic.
I was. Yeah, and I it started a little before the pandemic when I started failing, but I went to Israel. I went on a 2-week trip that, you know, I just ate and enjoyed, and then the pandemic hit, and I was like, wait, this is great. So I went on one walk this whole time. So yeah, that's what I've done. So we won't discuss that, but I think that in your question about if we can leave somebody with that, like realtors or clients, I think since we've talked so much about us as realtors, I say let's shift to the clients, and I guess with them is keeping them positive, is just making sure they know how, you know, we are still busy. When someone's thinking about listing, I'm like, oh, I listed 4 houses last week and I got 3 under contract. They're like, oh, and like, you know, just turn off the news. I mean, we've got to watch the news somewhat to know what's going on, be a little informed, but don't watch it 24/7 like my husband likes to on a certain channel. Just, you know, just, you know, watch a little to know. But I think just being a really positive light to our clients, letting them know there's a shortage of inventory, letting them know there's places up north that people are going to want to get out of and not live there again if they ever have to go through this. And we are the destination that they're going to want to go. So just keeping everything on a positive note, that you know, it's going to be good, and getting out there, and how we're all helping by selling, by getting out there in the community, keep the economy going instead of all hiding and letting it all shut down. Like we need to get it going. Yes, stay home, stay safe, what have you. It's time for us to get the economy running again, and real estate is one of the biggest, you know, factors in that. So we're all a part of that.
Thank you for that message. And I think, you know, I appreciate everyone's time today. I know we ran a little bit over. I feel like we could keep chatting forever, but I think it's unanimous across the board, right? Just focus on education, focus on being a resource, coming from kindness and empathy with your clients, with your team. And again, we're loving that mentorship thing. I think a lot of people are going to get that from this. So thank you all so much for your time. You know, because I love social media, I have to do one quick photo. So say cheese from a behind the scenes. All right. And thank you guys so much, and enjoy the rest of your day, and go have a margarita. You deserve it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Bye. Thanks.